Honor Heights Park in Muskogee is nationally known for its azaleas, but as you're about to find out, they're also getting quite the reputation for their beautiful holiday light display that's just about to start its second season. Now, to find out more about this project is Parks Director Mark Wilkerson, and Mark's going to tell us a little bit more. Now, Mark, things used to be kind of slow around this time of year, but not anymore, I guess.
Well, we used to call this our slack time of the year after a hard summer of working with the annuals and the roses and keeping everything, trying to keep things alive. It was a busy season and a slow season and back to the busy season again, but now it's a whole different story. We have deadlines again, and they're rapidly working now to get our lights up.
I understand there are over 800,000 lights going in. How long does it take you to do this?
Our crew started about the last week in October, and we opened on November the 26th, the last week in November, so about a month to put all the lights up.
Okay. Now, really, it's not just a fancy light display. I mean, you really have a purpose in how you're designing this to kind of accent the park's natural features. Tell us what some of the things that people will see.
People will remember the Honor Heights Park from the springtime beauty and the horticultural aspects of the park, and so we wanted to try to enhance that, and so we've stuck with themes of nature and beauty to make the azaleas bloom again. We use colors to depict the blooming of the azaleas, and we wrap trees, tree trunks, and of course we have a lot of animated animal type characters that are very nice.
Now tell us about some of the animals that they'll actually be seeing.
Well, if the folks came last year, they saw a couple of Christmas geese that sit out in the pond, and we had a dove that flew over the rose garden here at the park. This year we've added 2 more doves, and we've moved them to the ball field. But these doves have 8-foot wingspans with 3,500 lights on them. But we've got a couple of new features this year with a deer that runs through the woods and jumps, and we have a rabbit, and we have a squirrel that runs up and down a tree. We have some new mallard duck that flies down and lands on the park, and so we're really excited about our show that we're going to have this year.
And even a waterfalls, right? Because that's a pretty focal area too, isn't it?
One of the most talked about favorite spots last year was the waterfall, and it's probably 200 feet of cascading lights that chase each other down the waterfall, probably 15,000 lights.
Now, there's a new thing this year going on that you're trying with car radios. Explain that to us.
Well, it's called drive-by radio, and we'll have a sign that asks our visitors to turn their dial to a certain channel, and then they will pick up a message, a recorded message, 8 different messages that will narrate and explain the scenes that they're seeing as they drive through the park.
Well, Mark, if you don't care, I'd like for you to go over to a tree and kind of show us what you've been doing on wrapping these. Maybe we'd get some pointers for some of our homeowners. Have you got one over here we can take a look at?
Sure. Steve, this is a crabapple here. That's an example of how we do the trees in the park. This is probably one of about 200 trees that will be wrapped with lights, and as you can see, this tree is a crabapple, and the trunk is wrapped in green lights, and we try to use continuous lights like green and the clear white and the gold to represent the trunks. And as you can see, we go up on those stems and to try to show the character of the tree, and it's predominantly just the flowering trees, and then we'll go across the top with some color to represent a red bud or a dogwood or something like that.
Now, I guess there really is an art to wrapping these. Why don't you show us and tell us what you're using even?
Well, these are just your standard 100 count light strings, indoor-outdoor light strings that you'd buy in your hometown, but then we'll just take them and coil them up into a ball, and they're wrapped around the tree, and they come out to the end of the stem, and we go as high as we can reach with the ladder, being careful not to damage the tree. Again, the miniature light has very little electricity in it, puts out very little heat, so not to damage the trees or the azaleas that we put them on. But they go end to end. There's a certain amount of that they'll go end to end without, but that's all determined on the information on the packaging.
How many lights would you guess could be in one tree like this even?
Well, they probably average 10 sets per tree, but a good sized tree may have as many as 50 sets in them. We even pick a few oak trees that we do in the park that may have 100 sets in each tree.
Now, another thing I've noticed too, you've actually being out and active and working in the tree, it's afforded you another opportunity to do a little bit of maintenance. What's happened with some of those pruning cuts?
Well, that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that all of our trees get pruned and get the suckers pruned off of them so that we can wrap the main trunks coming out. So it helps encourage our pruning process for the lights.
Well, now, with the trees and the heat, how about the lights on larger lights? Does it affect the day length of any of the plants to cause any concern there?
No, I really don't think so. Some of the bigger bulbs put out a little bit of heat, but we've through our experimenting, learned not to use those because it draws too much electricity, overloads our system. Well,
Mark, tell us again about the days and times that people can come by and experience this.
Well, we open on November the 26th, the Friday after Thanksgiving, at 5:30 each evening at dusk. We open the gates, and it runs till 10 o'clock on a weeknight and 11 o'clock on a weekend.
Well, no doubt this is going to be just as impressive as the azaleas, so it's a great opportunity for people to come out during this time of year. From what we've seen, it's going to be just breathtaking, and we appreciate you inviting us out and coming by to experience this. And that's all the time we've got today. Be sure and join us again next weekend here on Oklahoma Gardening.